What's going on, guys? Kaiger here. We have a new fairy to review that's active right now on JPKR and SEA, and it's not a processor, but we're talking about Snapdragon. Let's jump into it. Alright, the joke was obviously pretty good in my opinion, but let's check her out. So, Snapdragon, she has this little fish she has around with her, this little puffer fish, and she's pretty funny. I've seen the skill. She summons like 7 of them and they shoot lasers in front of you, and then she summons 2 or 3 bigger versions of this, and we'll talk about the skills. And she's obviously Earth, as you see right here. There's the stats, and telling you up front, I need to do some testing once she comes to global to see how she interacts with other buffs and such. But right now at the outset, I think she's going to be very, very good at PvE. And should you summon on her, I would say she's not mandatory. I believe the only mandatory units to summon on really are the collaboration units, because we've found out that they're not guaranteed to come back in the same year, as well as season fairies, because you get a lot of the points from the season event from the season fairies. I think those are the most mandatory fairies to go after. This one is not being released with a season or any kind of special thing you need her for. Very similar to what we got with Snakeberry. Snakeberry, also a pretty good fairy. This one, on paper, looks very, very good in PvE. Let's jump into it. Alright, so starting with her basic, I checked down here. Nothing special. Same regular that you would expect from a fairy. It seems like they've shied away from special effects on basic attacks. And her passive automatically makes her not do anything in top league. So as we see here, it's active when she is deployed, and when she or any of her summoned goldfishes, which is in the active, deals damage, both her and the goldfish companions get 1% bonus damage for 6 seconds, can stack 5 times. That 1% goes up, as we see right here, as well as every time it refreshes, very similar to Fighting Will. So if we look, it's 8% bonus times 5, 40% bonus on her and on her pufferfishes, which at base is 2 summons, but at very early on you'll get a third one, as we'll see. So going on to the actual ability itself, yeah, showtime right here. Turns the projector, hand wheel, and deals damage. This is the laser in front of you that they all shoot, dealing damage. And this number 1 kind of tells you that it's a straight line. What it says right here is it slows them by 50% for 6 seconds. There's 3 effects that happen. One, it just does the damage in the line. Also slightly thicker than something like not Snapdragon. This is Snapdragon. Snakeberry. Slows them by 50%, 10 meters in the straight line. Number 2, when the skill is activated, you get 15% damage reduction for 6 seconds. And 2, companions are summoned near the master. These companions auto-attack enemies and have 50% of your attack, lasting 11 seconds. This is the main thing I'm going to have questions for as we scroll down. If only 1 enemy is hit, the companion's duration is increased by 3 seconds. So what I think this means, I'll need to test, is when you do the big laser, if it only hits one person, it's going to be 14 seconds, is how I read it. Some people are reading it as it does basic attacks and it gets +3, +3, +3. I don't believe that's how it's going to work. Level 2, more damage on the laser and +1 fish, which is super early on. That's a pretty good thing. Level 5 right here, more damage on the laser. And 50% of the goldfish damage is healing for you. And the goldfishes scale at 60% of your attack instead of 50. Level 8, when you use it, you get 5% attack and 20% defense for 6 seconds. Now, I think level 2 effect is pretty much mandatory for that third pufferfish. I think level 5 is pretty huge, especially for your damage output. But level 8 is obviously going to be good, but is it really required? No, especially as it's not a seasonal fairy or anything like that. I have another video later today talking about the collaboration in the first half of the year. We already know it's not going to be in April, so it's either going to be in May or June. But just telling you right now, I think she's going to be a monster when we talk about PvE game modes like Guild Boss. And something like, she's actually going to be very good in something like Guild War if you're trying to fight for that middle point or a boss fight situation. She's going to be very good. For Earth type players, I believe Tulip and Birds of Paradise are still above her, but we'll need to do some more testing. Till next time, guys.